Now, if there's one thing that's really painful, it's the process of fruit thinning. Because you've been waiting for the fruit so much, and then they come, they're not a lot in number, but they're a lot in a cluster. Like this cluster is so beautiful. And all of the five grew. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the middle one is the healthiest. It's looking so good. So the idea is, in my research, I've come to find that if you want them to grow into a good size, you need to sacrifice some and let about a maximum of 3 grow. And now this is it. In my mind, it beats logic, and I'm sure if you've also been waiting for fruits to come your way, it must also be beating logic for you because it's the fruits that we want, but they're now here and we need to start thinning them. This is the pink lady, and I'm just thinning them to test the theory before I have a bountiful harvest next season, hopefully. And I want to test it now and see the difference between the ones that I thin and those that I do not thin. Some thin themselves naturally. I've thinned this one to 3 and this one to 3 also, because now 2 will be too little, given that I don't even have that much fruit on the tree, and some of the others thinned themselves out. We also have 2 right there. We have 1 right there. So others undergo thinning through a natural process, and I don't have to make this harsh decision. And now I do not understand why I have some of these fruits looking reddish even as babies, while others look green. I don't know if that is telling me anything, because look at this. This is the same tree, but the fruits are looking kind of different. You will think there are 2 different varieties on this tree. Is it an issue about how they were pollinated or something? I do not understand. Please let me know down below in the comment section why this usually happens. You have that type that grows while it's looking darkish, reddish in color, pinkish, while this other one is looking green. Some more pinkish right there. Same tree taking on different sizes. So now we have, actually I can already observe. Now it's also good to note that these are not the same size because they've been fruiting at different times, but these ones that are only 2 right here are looking really beautiful and green still. And this one, they're kind of the same size, really, with those ones up there, while this one is just 1 on its cluster. These are just 2, but look at these are 4 on the cluster. And so now we have to take 1 away. Of course, you have to look at the one that's not doing really well. In this case, they all look like they're doing quite well, so I'm only leaving 3 right there. This one doesn't look really good, so I'll take that out. So I'm letting them have a maximum of 3, but for those that thinned themselves out, they're giving really good quality fruit. But the others I had not gone in because I'm quite skeptical about the whole idea, but I want to try it out. So I'm taking this. This is a lot of fruit to because I'm like, the tree doesn't have a lot of fruit, so I'm thinking it could support the others. These are 3, so that's good. But I know people have done research on this, so I do not want to act smart. So I'll just, like, this one is quite small, and so is this. So I'm thinning them. This is a lot of fruit to thin. So I'm thinking, what if you give the tree a lot of nutrients instead? Does it count? can you like minimize the thinning if you give it a lot of fruit. I also got to understand that if you let the clusters grow to maximum, it's possible that they'll only fruit once annually. Skip 1 year, that is, or one season, and then grow the next season. Now this is the pink lady, and the pink lady has a lot of fruit, and a majority of the clusters that actually did flower, all of them turned into fruit, which is quite amazing. There weren't a lot of flowers on this tree, but the flowers that were there all turned into fruit, which is amazing because I feel like it doesn't have a lot of issues with fruit abortion or flower abortion. See, we have a lot going on in there because the tree didn't really have a lot of flowers. And the funny thing is I went in to disturb the flowers a lot because I was transferring some of the pollen from this to the Wambugu apples, but still, even the flowers that I was disturbing, besides the ones that I actually plucked, were giving me quite good percentage of fruit. Like this little cluster here, the 3 are going to make it. And it's not like it's like we have a lot of flowers right now, so I'm beginning to think that maybe this variety is actually more self-pollinating than the Wambugu apple, because I've not seen a lot of abortion. The flowering was not a lot, but those that did flower gave us really good percentage of fruiting. This flowered and fruited the first among the trees, and we have quite beautiful fruits on here, and some have already found their way into the stomachs of the thieves. But we still have something to film before, at this stage at least. This is another pink lady, and this is what I was talking about. Most of the flowers gave us full fruiting. Look at that. Now this is the one that needs a lot of fruit thinning, because most of the fruits did really well. All the clusters that flowered, look at that, they all gave us 5, 6, but of course there are always those that give us 1 and 2. But the abortion rate, while a few of the flowers were dropping, the abortion rate was really minimal. The thing is, they didn't flower a lot. But the ones that flowered were quite good. It's evening here in the village, and those are village voices you hear of cows and the sun setting over there. And we are scouting the garden for the 100th time because nowadays we have to make an appearance and scout around here, because otherwise the thieves will have a field day. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think about the aspect of fruit thinning? I've never really had to think about it with my other fruits. I just let them grow, and probably they could be doing better if they were thinned. I've never tried it. I just let them grow naturally. And in my research, I've come across the concept, and I'm thinking of trying it because it feels like counterproductive. It feels like you wanted the fruits and now they're here and you want to thin them. Beats logic. When you think about it, it beats logic. But the idea behind it is when you thin, you're going to have better quality fruits that are going to give you a better size, and they're going to be more marketable than when you just let them be. So for apples, apparently the ideal is 2 to 3 per cluster. These are tamarillos, or what's the name again? So I don't know how many there should be, because I just let them grow. I'm having to unlearn a lot of things. A lot of things that I took for granted, I'm having to relearn them. Unlearn and relearn on a daily. But I'm open to the process of learning. It's never ending, and I didn't have to thin this time. I didn't have to thin my Wambugu apples because a lot of them are not actually more than, we had a lot of abortion happening, so we do not have a lot to like thin. Like here you will think that this is a single cluster, but it's actually not. Like this is one in its cluster, there's a little cluster on the other side, these are 2 on this cluster, and these are 3 on the other cluster. So there are like 3 clusters here, and then we have 1 and 1 on these other clusters. So I'm not having to thin a lot because they didn't grow on the same cluster, all of them. A majority are just 1 or 2. Like this is 2, this is 2, this is just 1, this is just 1. They're different sizes because they didn't fruit at the same time. This is actually 1 on this cluster and another one on this cluster, which makes me wonder if I'm going to have a lot of spurs happening along the branch, then we're going to have this branch producing a lot of fruit. The thing about bending, I've come to already appreciate the act of bending, because when you bend, look what happens. You have these things right here that are potentially going to give you spurs in another fruiting season, but of course you have to like trim them and maintain them at a height of like 10 or 15 centimeters, and they're going to be giving you fruit. So they're going to all flower. See, this is a flower, this is a flower, this is a flower, and if you have a lot of them happening here, then definitely you're going to have a lot of fruit on that branch. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is a potential, like this is some of these are came about after all the flowers aborted, and they left little spurs here, which I'm meant to understand will now be giving us fruits next season. I know for someone who has not tried this sounds like Greek, because even to my ears, initially I didn't understand what they meant until I got to bend. But this is a good example. Look at this tree. It does not have a lot of spurs happening or side branches. Neither does that, which is growing laterally, and I'm yet to bend them. But once you bend, you're going to have things like this, and I've been coming in with my shears and snipping some of them off so that we have a lot of this happening. And this is where you are potentially going to have flowers forming, flower buds, which will of course turn into fruit. So instead of just letting your trees grow all the way up, so you depend only on the tips, you can maximize on the branch so that you have a lot of spurs on the branch as well, not just on the tips, because the rest were growing on tips. See, this grew on the tip, this is on the tip, this is on the tip, which is good. But imagine if you have fruits all along. Now the thing is, when you bend, these things are going to start protruding. They'll either give you flowers for that season or flowers in the coming season, because they're going to give you things like this that are going to turn into spurs eventually, like this. And if they become too long, you snip them off to maintain the height, and that's where you're going to have a lot of fruit next season. I'm really hopeful that if I implement all that I'm learning, then we're going to have massive productivity in its true sense, not the one that we hype, because a lot of fruit is going to happen here. Let me show you something. This is a perfect example where we snipped off at 1 meter and then we bent using this string. But now count with me all the spurs that would eventually give us flowers and fruits. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now even if you have like one or two, that's a lot of fruit on a single branch. The same is happening here. What I'm talking about is this. It's at this point that we likely to have flowers happening, but if it grows like it's called a water shoot or something, if it grows a lot, then you come in. I'm not sure about the right time to do this, but you come in with your shears and snip at a diagonal angle and maintain a height of about 10 to 15 centimeters, so that you discourage vegetative growth. And like this one is growing too tall, so you can keep snipping, and these are the things that are eventually going to give you flowers and then fruit. So that's my understanding, and that's why I'm going to go back in and bend everything around here so we don't have that growth that's going all the way up. Once again, our Wambugu apple this season did not need thinning because it already thinned itself pretty well. Let me know down below in the comment section if you've practiced fruit thinning and if it worked for you in a good way or in a bad way. And also, please, if you're in Kenya, tell me the right time to do this, because nowadays, since I bought these shears, I'm pruning on the go, and I hope I'm not messing up with anything. Because these are the water shoots that are growing all the way up, and I come in and snip them back ever so often, because nowadays I get into the farm with my shears and I've been snipping around. I hope I don't overdo it. Thank you for always coming to support my channel as we grow together. Please do like, subscribe if you've not, and comment. Let me know your experience in apple farming, and let's learn from each other. See you in the next one.